It was a quiet morning, the clock ticking, when I realized something had to change. Life had been relentless, a constant push against my shoulders, and I was tired, exhausted really, not from physical labor, but from the endless churn of my own mind. I wasn't broken, not like some might think. I was just worn out from overthinking, reacting too quickly, and always feeling a step behind. I'd try to stay positive, plastering a smile on my face, but people would test my patience, and problems would pile up like storm clouds on the horizon. That was real life, raw and unfiltered, and no one had ever handed me a manual on how to navigate it without losing my sanity. But then, a truth dawned on me. Calm wasn't something I stumbled into by luck, and positivity wasn't a gift I was born with. They were skills, things I could train and build, not with a perfect life, but with better tools. This story is about how I took my mind back, step by step, and found peace in a world that never stops moving. It started with a single decision, one I made on that very morning. I decided I wouldn't let everything around me dictate what went on inside me. The first lesson was simple yet profound: pause before reacting. Life threw tests my way daily. People who disrespected me, words that stung, plans that crumbled, small mishaps that threatened to derail my day. My instinct was to lash out, to protect my pride with a sharp retort. But I learned that reacting too fast cost me control, handing my emotions over to others like a reckless gift. Regret always followed, a heavy shadow from words I wished I could unsay or messages I shouldn't have sent. So, I began to breathe, to stand still for a moment, letting the heat of anger rise and fall without acting on it. That pause wasn't weakness, it was strength, a quiet leadership over myself. I started asking, does this need a response now? Will it matter tomorrow? Most often, the answer was no, and those few seconds saved me hours of turmoil. People noticed the change. My unshaken demeanor earned respect, not from volume, but from self-mastery. I was no longer a ticking time bomb, cycling through stress and apologies. I was building a calm within, no matter the storm outside. But calm didn't come easily when my mind felt unstable every day. I traced it back not to my goals or work, but to my sleep. Nights of broken rest left me scattered, irritable, and doubting myself for no reason. I'd snap at loved ones, lose focus, and wonder what was wrong with me. The truth hit hard. My brain wasn't weak, it was exhausted, running on empty. Sleep wasn't optional, it was the foundation. I stopped treating it like a luxury and built a routine, winding down with intention, shutting off distractions, and creating a peaceful space. The shift was subtle at first, but with rest, my patience returned, my thoughts cleared, and I trusted myself again. It wasn't about pushing through, it was about respecting my need to reset. My energy changed, and so did my relationships. I became present, connected, and lighter, all because I gave my body the rest it craved. Yet, peace remained elusive with certain people in my orbit. Some drained me subtly: complainers, critics, those who turned every talk into a problem. They were family, old friends, but their presence left me exhausted, snapping at others and questioning my worth. My mood became a signal, a warning that this environment wasn't safe. I realized I didn't owe anyone my peace, not out of rudeness, but self-respect. I created distance, limiting their access, speaking only when necessary. It wasn't about hate, it was about patterns, how I felt before, during, and after their company. The right people lifted me, listened with care, and supported my growth. I guarded my calm like a treasure, choosing safety over chaos, and with each step back, I felt freer, stronger, and more aligned with who I wanted to be. To sustain that peace, I tackled hard things early. The tasks I avoided, the tough calls, the heavy responsibilities, lingered in my mind, growing into stress and guilt. I flipped the script, facing them before the day's distractions took hold. It wasn't fun, but it created space for calm. Each completed challenge gave me energy, confidence, and patience. rippling into better interactions. Avoidance only amplified pressure, action shrank it. I learned to trust my discipline, not my mood, and peace followed my effort, not my circumstances. My space, too, needed order. A cluttered room fed a cluttered mind. Piles of clothes, unwashed dishes, all whispering unfinished business. I started small, clearing a corner, and felt the shift. My thoughts cleared, my anxiety dropped. Cleaning became emotional, a reclaiming of control, a message that I deserved better. It wasn't perfection, it was intention, and it built momentum for better habits and focus. Anger tested me next. In its heat, my words turned to weapons, damaging relationships and my own peace. I trained myself to speak less, not to hide, but to manage wisely. Silence in anger felt powerful, giving me space to think before acting. Regret faded as I chose intention over impulse, earning respect and preserving trust. When my mind overflowed with thoughts, I wrote them down. On paper, they lost their grip. Tangled worries untangled, small issues shrank. It was a mirror, revealing what haunted me, offering relief without judgment. Over time, I saw growth in those pages, confidence in my resilience. Overwhelm came from juggling too many problems. I learned to pick one, focus fully, and let the rest wait. That single step broke the cycle of chaos, restoring control and peace. One task at a time, I rebuilt steadiness. Finally, I sought safety in people. No routine could offset toxic connections. I gravitated toward those who listened, supported, and let me be real, people who made my nervous system relax. I distanced myself from tension, raising my standards, and found a life where peace was my baseline. To stay balanced, I tracked my feelings daily. A simple note on how I felt, what lifted or drained me. Patterns emerged, guiding better choices, catching stress early. It wasn't about perfection but presence, turning emotional chaos into clarity. This journey, started on that quiet morning, wasn't luck. It was a daily decision to listen, act, and protect my peace, building a life of calm and purpose.